Well, many thanks for joining us. Good evening. I am Ansman Esonyasi, and this is QTV News coming to you live from our studios along Kairaba Avenue. Our headlines this evening: with a vision for rice self-sufficiency by 2025, President Barrow on Sunday visited a water pump rice irrigation project in the Central River region. In another visit to a large-scale farm in the CRR, President Barrow revealed plans for possible collaboration between government and banks to provide farmers with loans. The Minister of Tourism has announced that the UK government has given the green light for its citizens to visit the Gambia in the upcoming tourist season. And contracts have been awarded to companies to construct 50-kilometer roads in preparation for the Gambia hosting the OIC Summit in 2022. And in international news, the Sudanese government says it is investigating an attempted failed coup in the early hours of Tuesday morning. But stay tuned as we bring you more on these and other stories. And now we take a look at the news in detail. With a vision for rice self-sufficiency by 2025, President Adama Barrow on Sunday visited a water pump rice irrigation project in the Central River region to assess the state of progress. Umar Lamin Choi reports.
The project began last year in a region renowned for its rice production. The Sankule Kunda water pump project covers 260 hectares of rice fields in the Central River region. President Adama Barrow, who has set a target for rice self-sufficiency in the Gambia, visits the project site to assess progress.
Capabilities, even though we are facing some technical issues, but that has been resolved. And we can reassure you, sir, that come December we hand over everything, sir. Yes, sir, by God's grace.
We want to see something clear by end of October. No, something vicious, something we can see.
This one will be under
I mean this one and that one.
No, that one
Please.
can be. Yes, that's what is pumping here. Yeah. I mean installing the pump. This one being functional by end of this October, sir.
The 13-month-long project will establish 10 solar-generated water pumps at the site, with the capacity to provide farmers with access to water for continuous irrigation, cultivation and production of rice all year round. The governor of the Central River region, Abbas Sanyang, is confident that the project, when completed, will serve its purpose.
When we clear that out, it is possible for us to cultivate rice 3 or 4 times in a year, continuous harvesting and continuous cultivation. That means water will be available continuously during the dry season, and when the rain season comes, it's also available.
According to experts, having vast, fertile land, mostly with fresh water, the Central River region has the capacity to meet the demand for rice in the Gambia. In his address at a joint meeting in Bansang, President Barrow gave a reassurance of his support to rice farmers for rice production self-sufficiency in the Gambia. Through the Rice Value Chain Transformation Project, President Barrow's government aims to intensify rice production to reduce the reliance on imports. The $7 million project was launched in and it is due to be phased out in 2024 and targets the major rice growing regions CRR North, CRR South and the Upper River region. Mahmoud Lamin Choi, QTV News, reporting from the Central River region.
And we will still stay with Mohamed Lamin Choi and in Central River region, because in another visit to a large-scale farm, President Barrow revealed plans for possible collaboration between government and banks to provide farmers with loans to address resource constraints facing the agricultural sector.
In his Meet the People tour, President Adama Barrow has been visiting farms and agricultural sites to acquaint himself with the impact of his government's policies on farmers. On this visit, the President meets Babukar Boy, a prominent farmer in the Central River region in Boiram village, who cultivates a variety of crops on over 40 hectares of land. As a commercial farmer, he cultivates maize, groundnut and koos. While interacting with the President, who is on a visit to assess his agriculture progress, Babukar expresses farmers' commitment to crop cultivation and production for the development of the country and highlights the challenges facing farmers like him.
dañ am jafe-jafe tuuti yoo xam ne dañ ko manqué muy ci wàllu matériel comme yu demee ni.
We have certain needs that we are lacking. These include farm tools we need for farming. I have 9 horses and 1 donkey. To feed them is a problem, and every year I farm over 40 hectares. In response to his request, President Barrow assures the farmer of his government support and mentions some recent government intervention which provided farmers with some tools and the supply of a record 20,000 tons of fertilizer this year. President Barrow also reveals another government initiative to address farmers' resource constraints. For farm machineries, we can't offer them to individuals. What we can do, however, is to give them out as a loan. What is possible is a collaboration with banks for the availability of the materials, so that we can give them out on loan, which will be paid in installments. We are working on strategies to make this happen. To address challenges facing farmers in terms of materials, the government purchased and distributed 50 tractors across the country. In the CRR, 20 of those tractors are in the region for use by farmers. In the face of resource challenges facing farmers, President Barrow stresses the need for proper management of the tractors.
Every year multiply.
We have brought tractors, but they are not enough. But if people are managing them, you will see that every year the tractors will multiply, because we will spend the money generated from the services of the tractors to buy more. President Barrow also visited the tractor garage in the region managed by Maron's farm and briefed the president about the operations. President Barrow also takes chance to emphasize the significance of agriculture in the country's socio-economic development.
Government will continue to collaborate with you, work with you in the interest of the farmers, because agriculture, definitely, if you are serious about development of this country, agriculture should be top in our priorities. That's what we are doing in this country, because agriculture is our gold and diamond in this country. We don't have other resources, and one thing we are blessed with, that we have the manpower. Manpower is there, that will help.
During the tour, and in response to previous demands by farmers, President Barrow announced the distribution of goods and rice milling machines to farmers, and a planned distribution of tractors in the coming days for some villages he has publicly announced as beneficiaries. Mahmoud Lamin Choi, QTV News.
Now, the Minister of Tourism has announced that the UK government has given the green light for its citizens to visit the Gambia as a safe destination in the upcoming tourist season. In the wake of this development, government has devised strategies in line with health measures and for economic recovery in response to the pandemic. Mahmoud Lamin Choi tells us more.
The announcement highlights the positive impact of Gambia's handling of the coronavirus pandemic. The Minister of Tourism, Muhammad N.K. Ba, tells us about the latest decision by the UK government on travel to the Gambia.
I think the whole country is aware, the whole world is aware that Gambia has been given the green light in UK, and the British government are allowing people to come to Gambia and spend holidays here.
Upon receipt of information from the UK and a presidential order for swift action, the minister updates Gambians about the consultation between the tourism and health ministries on strategic measures for the reopening of the tourism sector.
Upon consultation, that with effect from 1st of October, any visitor to the Gambia, any visitor, if you have a Q&R code, or you have a certificate certified that you are fully vaccinated, you are free to come to this country without PRC test, without any rapid test, and you will not be quarantined.
The UK government has also lifted travel conditions on Gambia's diplomatic passport holders traveling to the UK, which is to be finalized after consultative assessments with health officials in the Gambia.
British government also have agreed to lift some of the conditions for those carrying diplomatic passports. They have only certificated few countries certificate in the world. They will be sending a team to the Gambia in consultation with the Ministry of Health to look at the Gambian certificate. If they are satisfied with that, Gambians also will enter Britain without any test certificate or anything else. Mr. President, we congratulate you so much. And the world congratulate you.
Gambia is a popular holiday destination for tourists from the United Kingdom. According to World Bank statistics, before the COVID-19 pandemic, nearly 41,000 tourists from the UK visited the Gambia annually. While the pandemic still grips the world, countries are opening for recovery of their economies that have been massively devastated by the impacts of the coronavirus pandemic. The impact has been felt most in tourist-dependent, such as the Gambia. The announcement highlights the positive impact of Gambia's handling of the coronavirus pandemic. The Minister of Tourism, Hamad Nkeba, tells us about the latest decision by the UK government on travel to the Gambia. Upon receipt of information from the UK and a presidential order for swift action, the minister updates Gambians about the consultation between the tourism and health ministries on strategic measures for the reopening of the tourism sector. The UK government has also lifted travel conditions on Gambia's diplomatic passport holders traveling to the UK, which is to be finalized after consultative assessments with health officials in the Gambia. Gambia is a popular holiday destination for tourists from the United Kingdom, according to the World Bank statistics. Before the COVID-19 pandemic, Mahmoud Lamin Choi, QTV News.
Well, some good news there, and we will now take a short commercial break, but when we return, we'll take a look at some more local and international news stories. Don't go.
Now, with Aji Bank, you can make your vehicle number plate payments without any hassle. Walk into any of our bank branches or agencies located at Banjul, New Joswang, Karaba Avenue, Bakote, Tranquil Brusubi, Brikama, Basse, Farafenye, Numuyel or Garawal. Your number plate payments now made easy with Aji Bank. For more information, please call us on 422-8405 or 377-5811. Aji Bank, your investment partner.
The best product in town is back. QCell's MiFi router. Get the best MiFi in the country for just $2,800 and connect up to 15 users with 4G internet speeds and a long-lasting battery life. So rush now to any of our customer care locations and get the best for less while stocks last. For more info, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Senior Boss, the Gambia's quality network. We innovate, others follow.
Welcome back from a short commercial break. If you're just joining us, be reminded you're following QTV News, coming to you live from our studios along Caraba Avenue, and I am Ansmane Soinyasi. Now, the Gambia OIC Secretariat, in collaboration with the Ministry of Works and the National Roads Authority, on Tuesday awarded contracts to 2 companies for the construction of 50-kilometer roads in preparation for the OIC Summit in 2022. Babakar Si attended the ceremony and he files in this report.
Following a transparent, competitive and open bidding process, the Evaluation Committee, a multi-stakeholder body comprising government ministries, government agencies and independent observers, have announced the following companies as successful bidders. Construction of Lot 1 is awarded to SSTP, CSE and Alfat respectively, while Lot 2 is awarded to Pavifort, Huta and Gambisara. There are 3 joint companies for each lot, including a local Gambian company. According to officials, the Saudi Fund for Development, the financiers of the project, has approved the committee's recommendations. Yankuba Diba, the Chief Executive Officer of the OIC Gambia Secretariat, says the urban area will soon graduate from the never-ending inconvenience caused by traffic congestions.
To reassure the public that the Secretariat will leave no stone unturned in going the extra step to make the Gambia proud on the world stage. Today's event is testament to that. We are gathered here to witness another milestone in the form of an award of contract ceremony, 50-kilometer 20 urban roads project. Under this project, 20 new modern roads will be constructed across the West Coast and Greater Banjul area. We are all living witnesses to the perennial problems of traffic congestions that commuters have to grapple with daily.
Momodu Senghor, the managing director of the National Road Authority, said once completed, the roads will add value to our infrastructure and transform lives.
When constructed, they would significantly add value to the much needed internal traffic circulation and distribution in our most prominent urban setting during the hosting of the OIC Summit and beyond. This will also usher in immeasurable socio-economic development in the project zone. And I am of the strong conviction that this is one of the projects that will transform the lives of Gambians.
The Minister of Works, Transport and Infrastructure, Lamin Job, said the awarding of the contract is a great achievement.
So these are the roads we are going to address. And address means upgrading them, providing them with drainage and proper surfacing so that they could be motorable throughout the year in all seasons.
Minister Job further announces the cost and the expected completion time.
The contractual amount is $20.9 million. For Lot 2, the amount is $20.4 million. And the duration for the contracts is 14 months. 14 months, yeah. Yes. Now, there is a lot of congestion, there is a lot of traffic, and we are going to be facing a lot of challenges. So we need, as we go along, as the project unfolds, to redirect this traffic. And there is going to be a serious traffic management effort that has to be in place.
The contractors gave reassurances of their commitment to providing the country with quality roads with proper drainage system, unlike many of our current roads, and street lights, all to be ready within 14 months. Babu Karsi, QTV News.
Now, a forum with farmers and stakeholders organized by the Gambia Groundnut Corporation, GCC, was held over the weekend at Genoy in LRR. Jennifer Sonko traveled with the team and Sina reports.
The consultation gave an opportunity to groundnut, cashew and cereal value chain stakeholders to discuss imminent issues to improve the plight of farmers. Mohamed Njai, the managing director of the Gambia Groundnut Corporation, took us through the discussion.
We had a host of proposals, I would say, from the farmers. One of them is the access to fertilizer. I think we have taken on board some of their recommendations in terms of working with the CPMSs directly, which is the cooperative marketing societies. We are going to look at that option, and provided that we are going to put safeguards to ensure that the resources that we are giving them will be protected.
Falalo M. Toure, the chairman board of directors GGC, says farmers themselves are contributing to the low access to fertilizer.
Unfortunately, some of these problems are caused by farmers themselves. You know, farmers can only buy 8 bags, 10 bags. And this fertilizer is not supposed to leave the country. But GGC cannot be a policeman policing all the borders. And for those who are taking this out of the country are assisted by the very people that this fertilizer is supposed to benefit.
The Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, is one of the most significant partners in addressing the plight of farmers. Mustafa Sise of WHO took us through the support they have been providing to farmers in partnership with GGC.
FAO has been providing seed to the groundnut farmers. It has been providing fertilizer to groundnut farmers. And most importantly, it has been providing aflasafe. Aflasafe is a chemical that helps to control aflatoxin.
Farmer Keba Sanyang applauds the Gambia Groundnut Corporation and the government for the subsidized fertilizer this season and attests that the fertilizer was good, judging by the harvest from his groundnut farm. The GGC is engaged in the wholesale buying and exporting of the country's annual groundnut crop and has now included other crops such as cashew. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jennifer Sonko.
And the report here by General Sonko will lead us to a short break, but when we return, we'll take a look at international news in a moment. Now, the Sudanese government says it is investigating an attempted failed coup in the early hours of Tuesday morning by a loyalist linked to ousted former President Omar al-Bashir. It says the situation in the country is now under control. Alucia tells us more.
According to eyewitness reports, residents of the Sudanese capital, Khartoum, woke up to what seemed like a pretty normal morning, except that one of the bridges leading to Omdurman, the capital's twin city, was blocked with tanks following a failed coup attempt, the latest in Africa after successful attempts in Mali and Guinea-Conakry. Sudan's Prime Minister Abdullah Hamdok described the failed coup as an attempt to derail the country's transition to civilian rule. In a televised address, Mr. Hamdok blamed loyalists of former President Omar al-Bashir, who was ousted 2 years ago by the military following countrywide protest. He adds that it is an extension of previous attempts to overthrow the transitional government. Mr. Hamdok says several days of unrest in Port Sudan in the east of the country were also part of a plot to destabilize the country. Sudan has a power-sharing arrangement with military and civilian representatives. Deep political divisions and economic problems inherited from the al-Bashir era have overshadowed the transition. Observers say some elements within the military are likely to be strongly opposed to a transition that will see them lose considerable power. Reuters news agency quotes the Sudanese military as saying 21 officers and a number of soldiers had been detained in connection with the failed coup, and authorities are continuing to search for the rest. Earlier reports on Tuesday from the capital, Khartoum, and nearby Omdurman described intense military activity and the main bridge across the River Nile shut. Shooting was heard near a military base housing a tank division in Omdurman, according to media reports. A moment later, a news flash on state TV said that a coup attempt had been thwarted. The coup plotters had tried but failed to take over a building housing the state media. Prime Minister Hamdok said his government will take immediate measures to fortify the transition and continue to dismantle the system of the former regime, which still poses a threat to the transition. Several coup attempts have taken place in Sudan in the years since President Bashir was toppled, the BBC's media monitoring service reports. We are not going back. There are people trying to turn back the hands of time, said Information Minister Hamza Balul in a statement read earlier on state TV. He added that forces of darkness were targeting the revolution started by mass popular protests against then President Bashir, but said government bodies will be the first line of defense protecting Sudan's transition. Traffic is now flowing smoothly in central Khartoum and its bridges are open. State television had aired patriotic songs and urged the people to confront the attempted coup. Sudan's transitional government is under pressure to deliver economic and political reforms amid competing demands from conservative and liberal constituencies. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has condemned the coup attempt and called on Sudan to preserve the gains of its democratic transition. Regardless of how this plays out, it is another sign that coups remain part of the African political landscape. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
And I'm afraid that's all about it, but before we take a leave of you, here's a recap for main headlines. With a vision for rice self-sufficiency by 2025, President Barrow on Sunday visited a water pump rice irrigation project in the Central River region. And in another visit to a large-scale farm in CRR, President Barrow revealed plans for possible collaboration between government and banks to provide farmers with loans. The Minister of Tourism has announced that the UK government has given the green light for its citizens to visit the Gambia in the upcoming tourist season. And contracts have been awarded to companies to construct 50-kilometer roads in preparation for the OIC Gambia Summit in 2022. And in international news, the Sudanese government says it is investigating an attempted failed coup in the early hours of Tuesday morning by loyalists linked to ousted former President Omar al-Bashir. Well, that's all we have for you in this edition of the news. Do join us at 10 p.m. for another bulletin. Until then, on behalf of the entire production team, thanks for watching.